What up, y'all? What it do? Your boy JT back with another video. Welcome to Delco. As today, our Philadelphia Eagles take on the New England Patriots. The season officially underway after this Thursday night game between the Lions and those damn Kansas City Chiefs that stole our Super Bowl away from us. But that's a whole nother story. Anyway, man, it seemed like it took an eternity to get to this point. I'm just going to give my thoughts real quick. I'm okay with the roster and like some of the decisions that, final decisions that they made going into the season. There are some loose ends, the way I see it. Mainly when I think about, special teams, I think about the depth at our linebacker position. And, I still do have concerns about, our safeties. Listen, I know everybody's excited about Sidney Brown, rightfully so. But we all got to know and, take into account that, we all believe he has the potential to be a starter one day and an excellent one. But I don't think it's fair to sort of expect that right now. I know listening to a lot of folks thinks that he should be penciled in as a starter right away. But I think that speaks more because of what we have at the safety position, being as though we lost one of the best young safeties in the game. We saw him the other night, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Listen, I know Reed Blankenship, there's a lot of hype and, he did play well last year, but like I said, I still do have my concerns. It's not like he's done it, a lot, but then again, players don't do it until they actually do it. So, the linebackers, Nakobe Dean, he made the one good play in the preseason where he jarred the ball loose, on that fumble. But another one hasn't done it yet. I don't know if people really appreciate what we had last year in TJ Edwards. Kazir White, he was so up and down last year. I don't even really consider that a loss. It's just he looked good early in the season last year. Then he just kind of faded. Then again, he wasn't making mistakes or getting beat for plays, but he just wasn't special. So, but I am the middle linebacker position. That's, arguably the most, important part on defense because it's the middle linebacker that makes all the calls and changes and all of that, things of that nature. Now, I'm not saying that Nakobe Dean can do it, and I'm excited about him, but I'm not excited because I think he's going to be this all-world player. I'm excited to see if he's going to become this all-world player that a lot of people, thinks that he's going to become. So I'm not ragging on him at all, but it is a little thin back there with, Zach Cunningham and Christian Ellis as of right now are the only three linebackers on the team. I know they did resign Nicholas Morrow to the practice squad. Good move. He's a good special team player. I figured that they would make another move at linebacker. But who knows? Maybe they're just, taking it, game by game, seeing how things work out. The craziest, mystifying thing about this whole thing is the special teams, mainly the punting situation. Aaron Sipos, we know what he did in the Super Bowl last year. He contributed to, us losing that game with that shank punt. And it just seems really weird to me because I know the Eagles, they are, because, other teams, and you hear the people on NFL Network, ESPN, always talking about how thorough of a job the Eagles do when they're scouting things and looking at players. But this is really weird. Now, I know they worked out some punters and things of that nature. So what I take out of it is all those guys they worked out, they must not think that they're better or even as, whatever Aaron Sipos is. So I think that's going to be a week-to-week thing. Matt Ariza, everybody's, top choice. I just spoke about how the Eagles are a thorough organization when they investigate things. People were wondering, why they're not giving him a shot. Derek Gunn of Jacob Media Sports, he reported 3 weeks ago that the Eagles would not touch Matt Ariza. So my thing is maybe they went and did their research and maybe they found more to the story than what's really out there and they just don't want to touch it. But then again, nobody else is, really touching this guy. I know the Jets gave him a workout, but nothing came of it. So, that's the loose end to me right now. it's not like that our special teams is really that good, anyway, especially coming off last year. But when you lose Sean Bradley, you lose Zach McPherson, Kayvon Wallace gets claimed by the Cardinals. I mean, those are core special teams guys. And now we don't even know, like, who's going to be the guys to replace those guys. And, Michael Clay, I know everybody's giving Michael Clay a hard time. Deservedly so, but you got to also know, he doesn't pick the personnel. Like, I don't think he has say in what players they draft, or, he can't just go to Howard and say, listen, you get me this guy, that guy, that guy. For special teams, I don't think it works like this. So I think he may be a victim of lack of emphasis that are put on special teams. But, we got to hope that doesn't burn us at all. We got to cover. We got to punt, not shank the ball 10, 15 yards. We just got to hope this is one of those things that don't come back and kill us in the game. But everything else, the defense, our defensive line, I know it's loaded. Now, those guys got a lot of proving to do. Jordan Davis, I'm really, really, really looking for a big leap from him, because we are really going to need it this year. He's got to step up. Jalen Carter, he's been the talk of the summer and off season. We lose Javon Hargrave. It is, widely assumed that Jalen Carter was the best player in the draft this year, but we all know the story of what happened, why he fell in the draft. But we're going to, if he is this generational talent, we're going to need it right off the bat. We've got Fletcher Cox. Big Fletch is 32, 33 years old. I like, the rotation of Milton Williams. I like that they kept the veteran Katavius Street. Moro Jomo, I'm so happy that he made the team, because I think that kid definitely worked for it. It's unfortunate that he suffered the concussion, But our defensive line, man, is still sick. So I take, a lot of solace in that we'll definitely be right there. Now, I do expect the defense maybe not to start on all cylinders quickly. I think it's going to take a little bit of time. But today, New England is so banged up. They're missing so many players. I mean, even if they weren't like missing so many players, I do think our defense, will hold them in check. And that's it for the defense. The offense, my only thing about our offense is I'm hoping that we are still the number one offensive line in the NFL, because I didn't get a chance to see all these guys together, and I'm not, underplaying the loss of Isaac Seumalo. That makes me think our thing is going to change. Now, they may change maybe a little bit, might be a little bit better, but, I often think about that. But Cam Jurgens, he said all the right things. The organization has talked him up. So hopefully, everything still stays intact there. The Iron Man, Jason Kelsey, if this is his final year, does he have one more All-Pro, performance in him this year? I believe so. I hope that's the case. But everything else, QB1, man. We are in good hands. And that's the reason why I do believe. Now, this is way different than 2004 when we lost in the Super Bowl to the Patriots. I knew we weren't getting back the next year. Like, I knew that was like our best shot. It wasn't going to happen. And y'all saw all the drama that unfolded, stuff with Terrell Owens and McNabb and how that whole thing just went to shit. This is totally different. We are in a much, much better spot now. Super Bowl hangover, it is a real thing. It does occur. But again, I believe that if we stay healthy, and this is the most important thing, so we have to stay healthy. You can't control injuries, they happen. But if we're really going to get back and pull this off, we need everybody healthy, because it's going to be a much, much harder road this year. A much harder road. I don't think the NFC is as wide open as people may assume it is, because there's always those teams that ascend, the teams that you don't see coming. And like I said, we're going to need every ounce of, especially, when we're not so sure at other, positions. And like with the special teams, we're going to need every ounce of luck of staying healthy as we could possibly get. Now, what I do want to talk about, as far as speaking of the conference, I do believe we're still the best team in the conference. And you got all these teams out here, you got the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattles, who else made the playoffs last year? And the teams in our division, mainly Dallas and the Giants. And I'm going to say this real quick because I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. The Giants, if I were a Giants fan, I would look at last year like a springboard. Now, everybody on the outside is going to say, oh, it was just a fluke. Daniel Jones, he stinks. The Giants, they beat a bad Minnesota team, which is true. But you got to look at it. The Giants of 22 were like the Eagles of 21. The Eagles, the previous year before 21, only won 4 games. And then we came back and made it to the playoffs. And we got smoked by Tom Brady and the Bucs. The Giants were a bad team coming into 22 into last year. Word is they made the playoffs, won a playoff game. Daniel Jones, he played better than he ever played before. I mean, who's to say that this isn't, that wasn't a stepping stone for them? I'm not saying that they're going to do anything significant or win a division, but I'm not going to discount them. Washington, well, they're under new ownership. They got a great defense, We'll see if the kid Sam Howell can hold his end of the deal. But out of all of those teams in NFC, our biggest threat, it's not the 49ers. It is, yes, you guessed it, the Dallas Cowboys. Man, there isn't many things I dislike more in sports than the Dallas Cowboys. But that doesn't blind me to the fact of how good this team is. And they are loaded, especially on defense. Now, you go back to last year. Now, listen to in the head-to-head games with the Cowboys last year, there was no gap between the Eagles and Cowboys when they went head-to-head. Now, the season overall, the Eagles had a much better season than the Cowboys did. But head-to-head, it really was no gap. I mean, everything was neck and neck. Even the first game, when they had Cooper Rush, they did make that game 20-17 and kept it that way for a while. To the Eagles, got a score and the defense was able to hold off. We go down to Dallas and, we lose 40-34, so everything was like neck and neck. And I hate the Dallas Cowboys having good things because I do not want them to have anything good. But like I said, I can admit and see when something is, I'm not going to let my dislike blind me. They are our biggest threat, not just in the division, in the entire conference. So there's that. Dak Prescott, say what you want about him. He's beaten us, like I don't know how many times straight. He has had our numbers since he's been in the league. So you're going to have to prove it, Now, I know in the postseason, they choke up and do things, but it's one of those things where you just never know. I mean, a team is only going to stay down but so long. Now, it is what it is. Take it, what you take it for. But, I'm just going to do this one game at a time. I think we win today. I don't have a particular score. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game. But I think, it could be like we might be sweating us out kind of to the third quarter. And then I think the Eagles will get in the hand and win the game. It feels like one of those maybe 20-13, 17-10 kind of games, because New England's defense is really good, and Bill Belichick teams do play hard. I mean, regardless of their position. So that's that. Just over 14 minutes. So I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to make a video after the game and share my thoughts. And everybody out there, I hope y'all enjoyed today. And I will talk to y'all after the game. EAGLES, Eagles for life. Peace.